Man, dude, this whole time I've been fucking recording. I wasn't even on.
You weren't recording any of this?
I was recording it, but my screen was... There we go. Now we're good. Maybe I'll cut in the video from here. We'll do audio from the start.
Oh, the video
yeah, I'll do that. Everybody tuning into the video podcast, you're 3 minutes late. We're brought to you by Comedy Here Often, and that's pretty much all we talked about. Super C and Metro brand of Kleenex's garbage. And now you're back at it.
You're caught up. You're all caught up.
Yeah, it just keeps... I got to talk to Pantelis or somebody in this podcast realm of how to fix this shit. Are you getting messages on your phone? You're not getting messages, are you?
No.
Because for some reason, it always just resizes your fucking image, and then I'm like fumbling to get it to fucking fit.
We really got to get together to do this. It'll make it so much easier than just sitting in the same room.
It's, well, talk to Legault, fuck.
Yeah, well, beyond that, I mean, I know how to, it's my, I'm very safe. I've literally, first of all, I haven't left, I went outside to bring recycling to the recycling bin, but I haven't left the house since 2021 began.
Really, eh? You're finally, you're staying in, you're getting cozy?
Yeah, dude, I haven't left, I haven't gone on any major, other than the grocery store. Which even that, I'm trying to get the kids to go for me today. I don't feel like I'm trying to go for the record of not leaving the house and getting fresh air.
Yeah,
but it's been like 3 weeks that I haven't gone anywhere.
Really?
Oh no, wait, on New Year's Eve I got drunk. No, I've been following the measure, and listen, it's my kids do way more stuff than I do. Angela goes to work sometimes. She's going to places where there's no people apparently. Like they leave the house and she's there alone, but I'm the safe one, believe it or not. And even though I don't even look at it as following the rules, I'm just really, really, really lazy.
Yeah. I haven't been out, dude. I haven't been out since, or I haven't seen friends. I haven't seen any friends since October.
Really?
Like in person? No, I haven't seen any of my friends at all since October. Since the first, what was supposed to be the first lockdown. I was trying to be respectful in doing what they're asking. And now I'm quickly realizing nobody did shit, and I'm going to be the only one who hasn't seen another human for the last 17 years by the time we get out of this.
The numbers are shocking, eh? Like, I'm looking in my entourage, and listen, I don't run with the most lawful, rule-following bunch, but we're all locked down. We're not doing anything together. This is the first, so Abdul knows my best friend Chad and his family, and I figured it out. It had been 34 years straight that I spent either Christmas Eve or Christmas Day with them. This is the first year in 34 years that I don't see them either on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it is a new world we are living in. We are in a pandemic.
But I mean, how are the fucking cases still through the roof if a fucking vagabond, anarchist like me
come on, Derek,
is managing to stay cool?
You know how.
Huh?
You know how the numbers are up, man. The numbers are up because people are congregating. That's why. People are getting together. Just because.
Who are these people?
Yeah, but just because you who are these people?
But 2,000 cases a day? Like, that means that there's every day there's at least 2,000 people that are being fuckface in our province.
Yeah. Well, no, not necessarily them being fuckfaces, but let's say one of them is being a fuckface and then they come home and they infect the entire household. That's 6 or 5 or 4 people in the house that are now infected. And they didn't know for a few days, so they went to the grocery store and did what they were doing, and then they came back. That's how
I still can't help but think that the numbers are inflated. Like the testing is fucking not.
Dude,
accurate.
There's people going back and forth to Mexico and fucking vacations and shit.
That.
There's people partying. A woman on my Facebook
yesterday.
A woman on my Facebook posted like a few days ago. She was just like, I saw her post. I'm not even sure how I know her, but I saw her post, and she said. She goes, I'm like, she was frustrated. She goes, there's a bunch of people next door. They're all partying. They're in the backyard. They're going in and out of the house. They're smoking. They're drinking. There's like 20, 30 of them.
Or here?
here in Canada, in Montreal. And she was so furious. And then she goes, I don't know what to do. And then all the comments underneath were just, mind your own business. Leave them alone. Let them fucking do what they're doing. So, of course, the numbers are going to keep going up because it's not people who are sitting at home that are going, just let them do whatever the hell they want to do. People at home are going to be like, you fuckers, I've been staying home trying to fix this thing for the last 5 months like they asked us to, and you're dragging it on. So it's not that. What it is the people. There's a lot of people that don't give a fuck, man. Anyways, I don't even know why we're still.
It, though. I don't know.
I don't know why we're still talking about
people.
What?
Do you know a lot of people that have caught it?
I know.
Like I remember when we started early on.
I know a few people.
Knew anybody?
I know a few people that have caught it, and I know a lot of. I know people in the States who I'm friends with who know a lot of people. Family and a lot of people who've gotten it and even died from it. I know a few, and we know a few that have died. I think.
Well, I know my neighbor's aunt was one of she was like the third person in Quebec to die from it.
Yeah, well, it's
But she was 97 or something like that.
But there's a lot of young ones in the States. It's getting really bad. Like LA is fucking over, dude. It's insane how flooded it is. They're now putting the same thing like New York. They're putting body bags in trailers and. I got an email from Cedars telling me to not, like, if I was in LA, they go, don't come to the hospital if there's an emergency. We're overwhelmed unless it's an absolute emergency. Do not come to the hospital. And
was it a text or email?
Emails. We're getting emails from them, and then also they've now advised. I think it's Southern California has now advised all the EMTs. If you can't revive them in the field, don't bring them to the hospital.
Oh my God! Just leave the body at the house.
Yeah, and they say if I don't know where they're leaving them, and then they said too, if there's a chance, like if their chances are very slim of survival, just don't even bother. That's like
what the fuck?
Yeah, that's what it is, dude. That's what's going on.
Yeah, my buddy Sean, my friend that works at WhatsApp or whatever at Facebook, he live in San Francisco, and just to show you the difference between like LA and a city like San Francisco, where there's not as much of a ghetto, and there's not the education.
Well, San Francisco is a huge fucking ghetto, dude. San Francisco.
No, it's not like LA.
It's fucking it's even worse. San Francisco's way worse, man. Dude, San Francisco's a fucking shithole. Yeah, there's only the only areas that are nice are the fucking rich area, and it's still homeless people all over those streets of the rich area. Really? Oh, it's fucking.
Okay, well, I didn't know, but anyway, the numbers are not. It's not even like the same. We're not even talking about the same subject. There was like 174 new cases yesterday.
Okay.
And no deaths, where in LA there was something like 9,000 new cases and 179 deaths.
Yeah.
In one day.
Yeah.
That's the difference between San Francisco County and LA
I
County.
I think there it's probably, if I had to say it, it's probably because San Francisco, there's a lot more young single people living in their apartments, and then you have the homeless population outside, and in LA you have a lot of families that live together. You have a lot of Hispanic families that live in close, apartments together. So they're all congregating. They're all close to each other. And then a lot of them work in the field. They all either work at people's houses or they work in the front lines or grocery stores, and they're catching it. Then they bring it home and they give it to their aunt, their uncle, their grandfather. And that's fucking end of that, man.
Do you know if the tests are free in the U.S.?
I don't know if they change. At first they were, and then I think they still have some free testing, but it's very hard to get a free test. I think you have to, if you don't have insurance, you probably have a long lineup to wait in. It's not like, there's different test lines. There's test lines for people with insurance, and then there's test lines for people who don't have insurance.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a fucking shit show, man.
Wow.
Their country is not set up to handle anything health related. So it's going to be it's really bad. And then the thing is if people don't understand it here, it's going to get that like that here too. They don't understand that our healthcare system, I would say, is probably even worse in some sense because we have to treat everybody. And in the States, they only treat people with insurance mostly. So,
well, that's not exactly how it works, but yeah, I know what you mean.
well, yeah, there's a lot less people that are able to go to a hospital in the U.S. than there is in Canada. We could all go to the hospital in Canada.
Yeah, but there's hospitals that are for people without insurance.
In certain areas you got to get to, and if you can, do you have a car? If you're that poor, do you have a car to get to that hospital? How do you get there? You know, they have they're really set up in like they have a very bad situation.
It is bad.
Yeah.
That everything's accountable. Like even so you go to the hospital, you don't have the right insurance for it. They treat you minimally and then they transport you to the other hospital and then they'll bill you $900
for the transport.
For the transport to the hospital.
Yeah.
And you know.
It's
bad. Anyway, it's bad. It's a bad thing. Like involuntarily it sounded like that country is doing herd immunity. Like they said, no, that's not the angle we're going to take, but it sounds like that's what's happening anyway. There's been over 80 million case in a country of 360 million people. I mean, that's a fucking quarter of the population. I think you get to over 50%, that's the herd immunity number. You know, if half the people.
Yeah, I don't.
Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah, they're not.
And then the questions still come up: will herd immunity work?
Yeah.
Because we're not sure how long the antibody work. We're already seeing that the thing it's mutating. So, will the antibodies that you've developed from catching COVID in March are those antibodies good enough to stave off? See the new version of it.
Yeah.
We don't even know. That's the thing with this. There's so much shit that we don't know.
Yeah.
And me and you don't know fuck all.
Yeah.
But even the scientists that have been doing nothing for the last 10 months but study this one fucking thing, even they don't know. So see.
Yeah. That's why it's pretty funny when people are like, have their fucking theories of.
Oh, yeah. I love people with fucking really, really set in stone opinion about a thing that fucking even people, the scientists don't know anything, you moron.
Well, I was thinking about that too the other day with I was writing out a little thing and the fact that I was like, oh yeah, remember when at the start of this when everyone was like, Sweden's doing it right, man. Sweden knows how to do it, and because they were trying to do herd immunity.
Yeah.
And now Sweden it's fucking everyone's dying. they're getting nailed.
Looks like New Zealand. I mean, New Zealand have a even smaller population than Canada, but looks like they did it right, whatever they did.
Yeah, because they're
followed
not
the rules.
I don't think they're letting anyone fly in and out.
Yeah, and they did the same rules as we did here in Quebec, except it seemed like people in New Zealand followed them, whereas Quebecois people did not follow the rules.
No.
Whatever.
But I guess nobody's, Ontario's terrible. Fucking Alberta's even worse.
Well, yeah, Angie's best friend lives in, I think you met Trina and Shane, Angie's best friend in Calgary.
I think so. I don't know. Maybe not. No, I don't think so.
Maybe
but yeah.
not then. Yeah. No, that was.
Oh, you stayed at their place when you went there last time.
Yeah.
You podcasted from there.
They have it. They have it right now. They're just coming off. They're on the plus side.
Yeah.
And they were very careful. She was mega paranoid. She was a teacher, and she has asthma, so she was very, very scared of it. So they were being very, very careful.
Yeah.
But their son, their measures were not like ours, right? The masks just became mandatory, I think, in October or something like that.
They're so bad. And then.
So their son got it from, or no, wait, their Zach's girlfriend got it, but Zach didn't get it, and yet they got it. It's very weird.
So what, the son? Is that the son, Zach?
The son, yeah. Zach is the son.
So the son got it, didn't get it.
No, he doesn't have it. The girlfriend got it from her brother, and then she gave it somehow to Zach's parents. So that's what I said to Trina. I'm like, fuck, apparently your son's sex life is really garbage if you caught it before he did.
That, or maybe they caught it somewhere else. They just don't know where they got it. That's the only thing. Yeah,
maybe.
you don't know where
the contact tracing. That was the best that they.
Yeah, that's what they came up with. Yeah, I mean, again, it's fucking everybody. You got to watch out, man. You got to.
Bottle of water.
But that's the problem when it gets overwhelmed. Is that now it's like fucking just assume. That's what they said in L.A. I saw that they said the health director in Los Angeles County. She said, just assume. If you're going out to the store, just assume you're in a store with people who have it. because
Yeah.
it's pretty much what
The-
it is at this point. When the numbers get that insane, like in Alberta, it's getting pretty crazy. When the numbers get that
the
high,
daily numbers are crazy.
yeah, it's basically like if you're at a store, there's a pretty good chance somebody in that store has it.
What was interesting, speaking to Trina and Shane, who have it right now, you assume it's the same strain because they got it at the same time, and whatever. Like she got it at probably 3 or 4 day symptom. She got her symptom 3 or 4 day ahead of her husband.
Yeah.
She's asthmatic, and he is an Ironman. He's literally an Ironman. He's done like 2 or 3 Ironman races. He's done those 100-mile runs.
Okay.
They fucking this run all the way across California or whatever fucking stupid shit.
Yeah.
So he's that. So you think cardio, this guy's in great cardio shape.
Right.
She's asthmatic. Her symptom, the smell, taste thing, but sore throat, headache, congestion, minimal cough. Him, diarrhea, cough, like c'est épouvantable. He's dying, cough, like to almost cough himself unconscious, which is like, so it's almost like, I've talked about this, I think on, maybe not on the podcast, but with people. Remember that movie with Brad Pitt, World War Z?
Yeah.
Where, so in the
I
concept
never saw it, but I remember,
it
I
was,
remember it.
It was a virus, but it was more, it took on the manifestation of zombie, like as a zombie movie. That's the
Okay.
virus. It turns people into fucking flesh-eating zombie people.
Oh, God, I hope it doesn't mutate to that.
Yeah. But the thing with this virus, this zombie virus in that movie, the virus was smart enough to know it wants to find a healthy host. So, and the cure for this virus was make everybody sick.
Right.
Because if you had cancer,
Yeah,
or if
that's
you even
the,
had a
I guess,
flu,
the
if you
herd
had any
immunity.
sickness, the virus was able to detect that you were sick, and it would just go to the next person. So if you an amputee or somebody in a wheelchair,
Right.
the zombies would just run right by as if you don't exist and just eat the healthy people. So it almost feel like this virus have an angle like that. Like Trina lungs are already fucked. They're like, oh, let's not attack her lungs. There's not, like getting into the little bronchial,
Bronchial
the bigger
tubes?
ones, and then the smaller ones. There's the little ones that really oxygenate the blood.
Yeah.
As an asthmatic, hers are probably already fucked up and small. So it said, you know what, let's fucking attack her face instead, or her head. I don't know. Listen, I'm not a scientist,
So wait,
but
is
I
he-
found
is
it
he a
interesting
s-
that they're both going through it at the same time.
Yeah.
Totally different
Yeah.
illnesses,
Yeah. And
but the
is
same sickness.
he a smoker?
No, they're both healthy, but he's a Iron Man. Fuck, he's super great shape.
Jesus.
She's an asthmatic, not exercise person.
Dude, that's the thing with lungs, man. They're so fucking weird. My lungs, when I had my collapsed lungs, I was in the best shape ever. Like, I literally quit smoking I quit smoking weed at that point. I wasn't smoking weed for like 2 years. I ran every day. I was in shape. I was I was always exercising and going for jogs every day, and I was eating like right, and my lungs collapsed. It's like, I couldn't believe, like, even when I was in the hospital, I was like, this is bullshit. Like, I was unhealthy for like my whole like high school years, and even like after that, I was unhealthy in the sense of like smoking dope and everything. And then I get in shape and my lungs fucking just crap out on me. So it was,
That'll teach you.
yeah, don't get in shape. And then there was
Don't worry, I won't.
there was a doctor. I think CTV or one of them did a thing with a doctor. I think he's a dentist actually, who is also in very good shape in BC, who was one of the first people like catching it, and he's had a super hard recovery since everything. I think he was actually on a ventilator, or he was hospitalized, I think. But yeah, and he ran also. He was running every day, and he was always in shape, and he got it really bad, and he's still getting effects, like from long-term effects from it. He can't keep his breath as well as he used to, and yeah, that's the stuff that's scary, is when you catch it, and it's just like, I don't want to know where this goes. I want to try and not catch it.
Yeah, that's probably the way to go.
At least for a few years, until you know if it is bad or not, or if it is horrible. It sounds horrible. It's definitely killing people. and we don't know who or how, so that's why it's kind of fucking, yeah, it's sketch. And then there's like you read stories like 106-year-old lady who survives it.
Yeah.
And then like, yeah, somebody who's 45 and in shape just dies. It's crazy.
It's fucking weird.
But what else?
Did you watch the hockey game last night?
I watched it until the first period, and then I said these kids they're not winning. I knew it. I knew it right away. I knew I had a feeling they were not gonna. I almost bet on it. I almost put $5 just for the fun of it.
Yeah.
I was gonna take the U.S. because I could.
$5.
Yeah, I figured. Yeah, I saw it and I was like, "Ooh, the U.S. has a good." They were like 3-something to 1, whatever. Like your chances of you're winning. I don't know. You know it, not me. What did it?
Yeah.
3.25 or something. If you if you bet on the states, you bet on the states.
Yeah, it was minus 330.
Yeah, so I saw it and I was like, yeah, and then I kind of thought of it too. And it's, man, I don't know. The juniors the last few years they've had trouble with their confidence.
Those are fun bets though. When I bet for a team that I want to win, it's more fun. But it makes it doubly sad.
It fucking hurts way more. Yeah, exactly.
Not only did my country lose, now I'm also out $400.
Yeah,
sucky.
Yeah, it's.
But I picked Canada before the playoffs started. Before the quarterfinal, I took them. I put 200 on them winning the whole tournament. So that would have paid off nicely if they would have won the tournament because the odds were better when there was still 8 teams in the thing. You know.
Yeah. Fuck. Too bad.
But whatever. It was sad. It was not a good game. What I noticed was in the previous game against Russia. The bounces were all going our way. Like, you know, a fluky thing would fly up in the air and it would just fall right in front of one of our guy and whatever. Last night, everything was going the U.S.'s way. Like, you know, almost on a breakaway. And then, you know, when the puck is up and it's not flat.
Yeah.
You just, all you needed is to go flat at someone. They keep trying to make it go flat while they're trying to get on a breakaway. And then the puck just jump over their stick. Shit like that. Little stupid thing like that. Fanning on a shot, like little things in the corner where they're chipping at it and it ends up perfectly on the U.S. stick. It was so frustrating, man. Nothing was going our way. It just posts hitting the post. You know, I don't know. It was very sad. The goalie played great, though. The U.S. goalie played fantastic, where our goalie had been sort of unbeatable to that point of the tournament. That we hadn't been behind until they scored that first goal. The Canada had not been behind once. Ever.
Yeah, in the whole tournament.
Yeah, they scored first in every single game.
Yeah, it's pretty, well, you live and learn, kids. You live and you learn. Yeah, you can't do anything.
It was a good tournament, though. I hadn't watched the World Junior in a long time. That was a pretty good tournament. That was some interesting hockey. Finland was very impressive.
Finland's usually pretty good.
I actually parlayed Finland with Canada, and Finland odds were against them, so it would have been a nice thing.
Yeah.
Finland they were always behind, and they'd always come back somehow and fucking win. They did that against Russia, too.
Yeah, I didn't. I love the juniors. I found this year was definitely a weird dynamic, obviously, because of COVID, so it felt like it didn't feel the same.
What do you think of them? So in all sports right now, with the empty arenas, they're pumping in the sound of an audience, of a crowd.
I hate it.
I hate it, too.
I hate it.
Because some of the football games that I'm watching, I hear them pumping in the sound, but sometimes, depending on what camera or what mic they switch to, you can hear the game going on. Like, you hear the guys, hey, you got that 46, you take 5. I love that.
Yeah,
it's like
just
something
play that.
we'll never be able to do again. Why don't we just watch that?
Yeah, that's what I would like.
Like, who decides that, this will make the television better?
Producers.
Shut the fuck up. You don't, let us see something different.
Yeah, well,
Here's something different.
It's producers that they fucking want to have their input and feel like they, you know.
They know?
They know, I guess, but ask the fans.
Try one game.
Yeah, I think
without anything. And
I think it would be great. Because
poll the audience.
It gives you, it's like a behind the scenes look of the game too. Like, just put a mic on the fucking bench. Let's listen to them swear and say whatever the hell they say. Then they'd all be Me Too the next morning in trouble. And
how many fucks slid in this junior hockey tournament.
Yeah.
Like they kept cutting like guy entering the penalty box. It's like, fuck you, bitch. And like, oh shit, that was just on fucking national television.
Yeah, they should. But at least like just the sound of the arena, the puck hitting the boards, and just put that louder. Less of the.
We do hear it a little bit
but it's
better
not.
than before.
But they should.
And I always, as somebody who played hockey my whole life, I find so distinct the sound of the new sticks versus what stick sounds, stick on puck, stick on stick, stick
really,
on boards. The sound
sounds plasticky.
is so different. Yeah, it's like, it's such a distinct sound.
Sounds hollow more than like the old sticks had like a good, you're hitting a chunk of wood.
It's a stick. Yeah, it's a chunk. It was.
Well, they are now, I think, kind of hollow-ish, right? They're made of like composite. They're fucking. But that's why they take a slap shot and they break a stick all the time now. It's
$150 stick. Snap
if you're 150, that's a cheapie, man. That's on special at fucking Sport Expire.
See, I used to. My Sherwood used to cost me $9.99 at Canadian.
I love the wood sticks, man. I still go for the wood sticks. Even in ball hockey, when we play ball hockey, I use a wood stick. I have.
Can you still buy them? They still have wood sticks?
Yeah, you can buy them for sure. They're the best. That's I love them. I can't, especially outdoor hockey, because it's the cold. Like those shit sticks, like the composite ones or whatever. They don't use that. You'll crack it in no time. So the wood sticks are the best for the outdoor rinks. They just, I don't know. For me personally, I like it.
I haven't been on an outdoor rink in 10 years.
It's been probably 3 years for me, man. Since I moved to LA, wow. I was dying to go.
Like my kids don't even really skate that well. I'm a pretty bad Canadian dad.
Really? I would think Reese would be pretty. You were into hockey. You're a good hockey player.
Yeah. Since they were little, I mean, Reese was he was like 5 when I started comedy.
Okay.
And I bought him all the equipment and I signed them up for hockey. And Anne went to one, like when they're doing the triage, like to make the teams to see like make it even.
Yeah.
She brought him to the one thing and she's like, I'm not fucking doing this. There's no way. And I'm like, you're away every weekend. Every Saturday morning, I have to get up at 6 in the morning and bring the 2 other kids to the arena. Bullshit. I'm not doing it. And I'm like, all right, well, I guess.
Football it is, buddy. Man. Football it is.
But even Andy and Jamie, I mean, girl hockey is very, very popular now. But yeah, I never got my kids into hockey. I feel very bad about it.
Yeah, it's all right, man. They're into whatever they're into. They like it. Reese is a great football player. Andy's into dance. Jamie, what's Jamie's thing? What does she do? Does she like any activity? Drugs?
Smoking dope.
It could be an activity.
She could go pro at that, I'm pretty sure.
Hey, man, it's legal now. You don't know. Fuck. Maybe there'll be some sort of a rolling competition at the next Olympics. Who can roll the best
booze
joints?
Has always been legal, too, but no one's aspiring for their children to be alcoholics at 21, you know?
Well, hey, man, the world's crumbling. Maybe we should have been fucking inspiring them to be alcoholics. Enjoy
I'm
yourselves.
trying. We're January 6th.
I'm trying.
I haven't had a drink yet this year.
Oh, okay. I thought you were trying to get your kids to be alcoholics.
No.
So no drink yet.
I'm gonna try not to drink in January.
Wow, good for you, man.
You know, see how it goes.
And are you
already? We're only 6 days in. And
are you smoking weed?
No.
No, you're nothing.
No.
Just cigarettes.
Nothing. Just cigarettes, coffee, and
wow.
TV. I went to bed after 5 a.m. every night for the last 4 nights. Just binging shit. I'm watching like full series in one sitting.
You go to bed at 5
So I find
a.m.?
myself eating at like 4 o'clock in the morning. So I think I'm going to get fatter doing this, but...
Dude, you go to bed when I wake up.
Yeah. I had like 4 bowls of Lucky Charms at 5 a.m. this morning.
That's I don't think that's good. I don't know. I don't know if the quitting drinking is the better part. I think it's almost just as shit, if not worse, to have that much Lucky Charms and no fucking no booze. It sounds terrible.
I may not make it through January, and suggested I do February, but I'm hoping by February we start to work again. I've got a few bookings in February.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
We're doing a Debaters in Toronto in February.
That's hopefully happens.
Hopefully.
Would it be in...
it may happen with no audience. I think they're determined to do it anyway. They've already got the wheels in motion or whatever.
Yeah.
Things would have to go really bad in Ontario for it to not happen at all.
Well, never say never, buddy. It seems
No,
like
not never.
It's all going that way right now. It's fucking stupid.
And then this is the first time because, like, for the first, I think, 7 months. So when the thing started, I remember we discussed I had just jacked up my mortgage to try to get my house paid off faster, and then the calamity hit. So I went another month still paying the mortgage. I paid a shitload of income tax that I didn't necessarily need to pay, I don't think, because Trudeau said, no, don't pay or whatever, but I paid it the day before. Anyway, then I went like 6 months without paying my mortgage. The bank, like they said, will bypass your thing, meanwhile accruing interest that whole time. But now I've been paying it again for probably 4 months. And haven't missed any payment. Right, my credit is bad right now. Everyone owes me money. I'm waiting for my sound exchange. I still haven't been paid for the government spot, which they're supposed to pay me before it airs, but whatever.
I think it's
complain too loud.
from when I just so you know, I think it's 3 weeks because when I did my commercial, I was wondering too, and it's I found it's 3 weeks. I think after it starts airing, they have 3 weeks to pay you.
Well, it's been more than that.
Yeah, well, anyway, they'll use the excuse.
I'm sure I'll get it. I'm not Spaffein's moan. And then
well, did you ask them? Because I did see an article about.
I did follow up. Yeah.
Okay, you asked them. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure you're getting paid.
And there's 2 Zoom corporates that I haven't been paid for as well. Anyway, I've got many thousands of dollars coming to me, but meanwhile, all my credit is through the roof. I have 2 lines of credit that are one's almost at its max. I see, and it's like, fuck, somebody pay me.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very hard time to get your money now. Like fucking, even with companies, I find like companies, like I got like, remember my laptop crapped out and it was still warranty. Yeah. So Lenovo was like, hey, we can give you a refund for it if you want, or we give you another model because they didn't have the exact same model I have anymore. So I was like, you know what, give me a refund and I'll buy another laptop. So they gave me a refund, but I can't even get a hold of the fucking lady anymore who I've been dealing with. I call her and she's just like, she's been off. I think she's off till next week. And then I send emails and I'm like, dude, this has been like, I sent it in November, my laptop, because I had to send it in. Then they do the inspection, make sure everything's okay. And then they okay it for the refund. So it was okayed, but I'm like, am I getting paid? What's happening here, man? And then FedEx fucking sent me so the new laptop I bought, I get it from FedEx. And it came from the U.S., right? From an American store. And they when I get it, I get my thing and then there's no tax payment. Like usually they charge you the taxes when they deliver it. They go, you have to pay the duty. So I don't get anything. I'm like, okay, well, I'm sure I'll get it in the fucking mail. They're not going to do it for free. I get it in the mail and FedEx is charging me more than the GST on the whole fucking item. They're charging me like $80 for an advancement fee and then like duty, like having to pay for it at the border. I was like, what the hell is this? So I call FedEx and they're like, yeah, that's just a fee. Like we throw it in there. And I started Googling online. I'm like, what do you mean? Like they're just like, I'm like, you're charging more than the Canadian government. Like in taxes. That's ridiculous. So I looked it up and apparently like people were like, no, fight it because they do it, but they're not allowed to, like, I guess they are allowed to, but it's a ridiculous amount of money.
They're allowed to, but you don't have to accept it. You'd be like, no,
because it wasn't when I ordered it. I didn't ask for it.
You for the service.
Exactly.
Because it's a service. They're inferring that they've granted you a service, but consumer protection make it so that you have to accept a service before you get charged for it.
Yeah.
Like somebody can't come and cut your grass without you
and then
knowing,
send you a bill and they're like, well, we did the service, you got to pay us. Like,
we cut your grass, so you have to pay us. I'm like, I didn't fucking ask you to cut my grass.
Yeah. So I had to call FedEx with a
so
whole
you could fight it. It'll be a
around.
hassle.
Yeah, that's it. I waited on the phone for an hour going around in circles, and then in the end, I got my $80 back. But I'm like, what the fuck is this, man? $80? It's crazy, man. But I find like that's what I was saying. It's like a lot of companies now I feel like they're all trying to grab money wherever they fucking can, man. And you can't. And then when you need your money back, and you're like, hey, that's my coin, buddy. They're like, oh well, sorry, you got to talk to this guy at this department, or can you stay on hold? We'll transfer you to this. And you're like, I don't know, fucking.
And after an hour, it just click. What?
That's it. So most people just give up. Over. But it's like, fucking, these companies are like, they're trying to gouge everyone now. And it's dirty. I'm noticing a lot of dirty shit from companies. Yeah. Feels like it, at least. So hold on to your cash.
Do you get your Sound Exchange direct deposit?
Yes, yeah. You too? You got it set up for direct deposit?
No, I still do it every 3 months, get a check, whatever.
Okay.
Because the direct deposit, either I need a American account in America, or if I want to deposit it in my Canadian account, they take the current day's exchange rate and charge you a fee to do the exchange.
Okay.
And then deposit it. So I rather get the American money and then exchange it on the day that, like, you follow the.
But
American
wait, this is your
currency,
American account that does this?
No, Sound Exchange themselves.
If you,
I can.
yeah.
To get direct deposit with Sound Exchange, you need to either have an American bank account,
Yeah.
a bank in the U.S., or if you want to have it deposited into a Canadian account, they convert it into Canadian dollars, but they charge you a fee and they charge you
Right.
basically whatever exchange rate they want.
Right.
You know, like on that day or the day they'll do it on a day that's advantageous to them.
So how do you get it if you don't have, like,
In
you
a
just
check.
go cash?
They give me a check.
Okay, but do you just
And
cash
I
that?
have an American funds. That's the thing. I said, I have an American fund account. Why can't you just direct deposit it into an American fund account? And they're like, oh, because we can't. We're not.
Oh, it's
should
got to
check
be
again.
an
Maybe they've-
American bank. Yeah. Yeah, they did that to me too. But if you go with
if I want to
RBC,
keep it in U.S. funds, they have to deposit it in a bank that's based in the U.S.
Is
And if I
your-
want it-
is your account, your American account, is that so it's under a Canadian, it's basically a Canadian
bank?
account?
Yeah, it's a borderless account with the TD Bank.
Oh, okay. If you go through
But it's a
RBC,
US
do you
fund
pay
account.
for it or is it free?
No, I pay for it.
Okay.
Like whatever,
So
$6.95 a month or whatever.
okay, so you're getting ripped off. What you got to do is go to RBC because RBC has an American. I think RBC is the only. I don't know if anyone else does it now, but they're the only bank that does American. Like it's an actual American bank, RBC Bank in the U.S. So you're opening
TD has branches in the U.S. too.
Okay, but is it? Are you able to? This one is I think $25 for the whole year. You're paying for it, and you basically it's so you get an American credit card, and it's an American bank, so you'll be able to deposit your your Sound Exchange directly into that if that's what you. So I don't know if TD
Like they
does
give
it,
you-
but I don't know if TD
they-
can you wait? Can you TD has banks in America, but can you open a US TD account if
I don't know.
with a Canadian address? You might need a US address.
Yeah, that's it.
So RBC
you
is the
don't?
only one you don't. They'll use your Canadian bank account as like your collateral, I guess, or like proof.
Right.
And then they'll register you a US bank account through their American bank. That's how I did it when I moved to the States because they were the only ones that offered it.
So your money still stays in American?
Stays
when
in
you get it?
American,
Your Sound
yeah.
Exchange?
Yeah.
Okay, and you
Yeah.
convert it when you want it.
Yeah, and then so I could just and then I could transfer it directly to my Canadian RBC account, with no fees or anything. It just transfers right over. Even the exchange rate fees, it's just going to be the flat exchange rate fee. I don't pay anything crazy.
Yeah, that's why I like keeping it in American, right? First of all, when I need American, which hasn't happened in a year, unfortunately, but even when I want to transfer it, I can wait and follow the fluctuation of the dollar, and when it goes up 3 cents,
Right. Yeah.
then I convert it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but that's why if it's in the bank, yeah, it's a good fucking idea to have it in there, and you can do it whenever you want. But yeah, dude, you did great on the second commercial, man. I thought that was funny. I like the start.
Thanks.
I like the start with
Resolutions are hard.
on the treadmill, and then
Treadmill.
just grab a drink from the fucking Frigo. That's funny. No, it was a good,
Thanks.
very good, very natural. It was very funny. Good job.
Yeah, and as I'm looking at them and listening to the radio spots, I'm like, I should have got paid as a writer too, because most of the things are, like they gave me the skeleton, and I kind of made
Yeah.
it all. Like the treadmill idea was my idea. They wanted me on the treadmill, like actually trying to do. I'm like, that doesn't fit with my personality. Like I'm playing myself, so
Yeah.
people know that I would never be exercising. If anything, if I have a treadmill in my house, I would use it as a mode of transportation to get to and from the fridge. But and they're like, oh, that'd be funny.
Yeah, I think what gets sticky or hard for comedians, like when you're doing a funny piece and they're hiring comedians, it's like we're always going to have better jokes or ideas.
Yeah. But some of it was
So
like
it's,
I taught.
yeah, but we're not like tabled, like
You're
it should
limited
be tabled in ACTRA a different way if you're a comedian.
You should automatically be paid for writing.
Well, because you're going to make it
guess.
comedically funny. You're going to change lines to be funnier,
Yeah.
but they don't take that into account.
There was a few things though that like
You're just an actor.
Here's some behind the scenes, some behind the curtain stuff. At the end of when I'm sliding, I'm just going along the treadmill like Resolution or Harmless.
Yeah.
Try to stick to some of the ones, take a sip, whatever. And then when I got to the end of the treadmill, I take the sip and I'm like, ooh, noggy. I thought that was a funny joke. They should have left that in, but they cut it out instead.
Yeah,
The
probably
other
just
thing
for
was
time.
one of the script which got cut. It was one of the ones that we were doing to announce the before they lock it down. Remember, in early December, the government
Right.
was saying, "No, we're gonna, everybody be careful for now, but from the 24th to the 27th, people will be able to see their family."
Right.
Well, while we were shooting the commercial, or the day after we finished shooting the commercial, they canceled that. They're like, "No, we're locking down. No one can see anybody." But we shot 2 other commercial, and one of the commercial was, so I say something about we're going to have a lot of leftover turkey, and then my Uncle Bob, who appears in the commercials there, Robert Higdon,
Yeah.
he comes on and says, "What's that? What? You want me to defrost my turkey in the bathtub?" And I was like, and so the line they wrote was, "They don't call him Dirty Joe for nothing." And I'm like, fuck, Dirty Joe, that sounds like such a pedo. That's
Yeah,
a
it
pedo
sounds
thing
weird.
in English. Like they're
Dirty
like,
Joe.
because it's French people that are approving the things. I'm like, no, Dirty Joe is really not the message we're trying to
Is
send
that a thing
out,
in French?
right?
Is saying?
Doesn't that sound pedo-ish? Like,
Yeah, for sure.
They don't call him dirt. I'm like, how about they don't call him Salmonella Joe for nothing? That's a funny joke. Defrosting a turkey in a bathtub. They don't call him Salmonella Joe. And I guess because they have the chicken farmer of Quebec is a strong lobby. They're like, no, we don't want to ever mention salmonella.
Oh, God.
So dirty. It's better to have a pedophile connotation in the commercial than to insult the chicken farmers. But the final cut, I watched the final cut, and it was like they don't call him Dirty Joe for nothing, because I did all the takes that they did, and then I said this would be better.
Yeah. So,
Like,
but they used
like
Dirty
they-
Joe in which one? In the radio?
in one of the ones that never aired because of it was announcing the
Okay.
gathering from the 24th
Right.
to the 27th, but be careful. The other thing, like, so for instance, in the first commercial, it was, or maybe, it was the first commercial. It was, you won't have to wear what your silly aunt bought you for Christmas.
Right, the sweater.
Yeah, and I said, no, I wouldn't say my silly aunt. I would call her by name. I would
Yeah.
say, you don't have to wear the sweater that ma tante Gigi gave you.
Yeah.
And they're like, who's Gigi? And I'm like, I don't know. It's just a funny name. So anyway, a lot of my lines made it in. The radio is the same thing. Like they had it as, hi, this is Derek Seguin, stay-at-home dad and comedian. And I'm like, how about this is Derek Seguin, pre-COVID comedian and stay-at-home dad? And they're like, oh, all right, so I did both versions, and a lot of the things they ended up taking the version that I suggested.
Yeah, because it's more natural. It's more you. You're changing it into what you.
It's more
Yeah.
funny, like you said. It's just you change 2
Yeah.
words, and it's
But
a much funnier
who
joke.
was it written in French first and then translated, or is it? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Then that's a
Yeah.
big problem right there. So a lot of those things don't fucking translate over.
But they allocated. There was an English copywriter that I was working
Yeah.
with the whole time. So like two.
Yeah, but
two
again,
of
are
the
they funny?
concepts weren't the same.
Like the copywriters are not generally, like comedian.
This guy was
Yeah?
pretty good. This guy, he was fighting for a lot of the things that we worked together, and he fought for a bunch of them. Like Dirty Joe, I can't believe. Like I don't think he pushed it enough. He's like, no, this basically is saying my uncle is a pedophile.
Right.
I don't think he really got that message home.
Yeah.
Anyway, it never made it to the air, so it's a non-issue. But
Yeah. Dirty Joe sounds weird. Yeah.
yeah, Dirty Joe.
Should have asked him, who's that? Like they asked you about my tante Gigi. Start being like a therapist. Who's Dirty Joe? Tell me all about him, buddy. Sounds like you've got some.
No, because that was their thing, and it's not Joe anymore. It's Bob, because we used Bob's actual name,
Bob.
Bob Robert
Yeah.
Higdon, the guy that plays. my
Yeah, I
uncle
haven't
in the
seen
thing.
him in a long time, man. It's been a while.
And you know the voice of the woman's voice, the Angela voice that says "put on your
Mm-hmm.
pants" or whatever. That was Jen Seguin, who was also. So it's two on the
the
spotters
spots, yeah.
in there. 2 on the spots and a stand-up comic. It's like a ComedyWorks fucking
Yeah.
reunion.
People who don't know,
commercial.
that's the ComedyWorks improv troupe from back in the day,
Yeah,
the old school.
resident improv troupe.
Man, well, those were good days, man. Like you
Yeah,
got
those
like
are the
even
good old days.
I'm so lucky that I just like I sneak by right as everything fucking like I just get like I get to see everything
changed.
right before it changes. Yeah.
Did
Very
you
lucky.
when you started? Was the Comedy Nest where it is now? Was the Comedy
They
Nest now?
just like opened up there. Like
They just went up into that room.
yeah, it was like
So you never
'Cause-
saw
No.
the other side rooms.
No.
So you know where the restaurant and the arcade is now?
yeah.
There was like there's side party rooms.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like rooms that they rent out for private parties,
Yeah.
whatever. One of those rooms was the Comedy Nest for 2 years.
Really?
When I started, that was the first place I ever did
Wow.
comedy in a comedy club. But it was
Okay.
basically a shitty.
So you
conference
never
room.
did it in so you also never did it at like when it was inside
Winnie's
yeah,
and
and that hotel,
Chinese
the Novotel
restaurant,
or
all
whatever.
those well, I did comedy. I never did the Comedy Nest in Novotel, but the Comedy Zone was still
Right,
around.
okay, it was the zone back
Comedy
then.
Zone. I won a contest at the Comedy Zone when I was like 6 months in
And where was that? That was at that
the Novotel,
okay. Okay.
which had been the Comedy Nest, and then Ernie and the owners there had a fight. Ernie left with the Comedy Nest name, which turned like
right, yeah.
Ernie, imagine that. It had already been 20 years of the Comedy Nest to that point.
Yeah.
And he never registered the name Comedy
Oh
Nest.
god.
So he left with the name, but they're like, we could have kept
Yeah.
it. He never did anything.
Yeah.
But they just, just
Well,
to not be
isn't
dicks,
that-
they just changed the name to Comedy
Didn't
Zone.
the Comedy Works have that same thing too? Like wasn't the
Yeah, it turns out they hadn't done anything.
they
really
never owned the
special,
name
but,
or anything.
But Ali Mohammadi did. He bought.
Yeah.
He bought it for $100 apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, $100 for the Comedy Works name. Well, I guess yeah.
But it was never. It had never been really registered. It was a registered company, but the name wasn't copyrighted.
Man, that
you know
place
what I mean?
was fucking so
So
good.
all the other guys had to do was call it ComedyWorks Montreal, and they were completely within the
yeah.
law.
Yeah, I remember there's a thing. But fuck, man, what a great I miss that was a good it just had a nostalgia, and it was like you used to be able to learn. You know, like I find like comics, there are a handful of comics in Montreal now that they definitely show up and they watch and they learn and they but it felt more old timey. Like the way when I like going to LA and like hanging out at the Comedy Store and like sitting in
Yeah.
the back of the room and watching and like meeting people, like that felt like how it felt at the Works. Like the Works used to have that American style of stand-up
Yeah.
comedy, like you
There's a place for comics to stand at the back and watch.
yeah, and
And then there's a place right beside for us to leave the room and hang out and be comics together.
yeah,
It
and then
was
the bar
perfect.
downstairs and yeah.
You're right. The Comedy Nest is wonderful, and they do a great job running the
Yeah,
club,
it's-
but it doesn't have that.
no,
you know,
it's not that
And then there's
gritty
the green
like
room. We can hang out in the green room, but it's not the same as hanging out down in the pub.
Yeah.
Or the green room at the Comedy Works, where you could actually be loud. Like you can't be loud in the
no,
the green room at the
no.
Nest.
You always get shushed. You guys shut the fuck up.
It's just not. Yeah, the Comedy Works.
Yeah,
Like I've been around now. When I started, the Comedy Works was all I knew. The Comedy Works and this fucking conference room that was the Comedy Nest and the Comedy Zone. The Comedy Zone was a pretty good club too. But the Comedy Works is now, after 15 years in the business, or 16 years now, it was perfect.
Yeah.
It's what a comedy club is and should be, and is the training ground. And now in retrospect, having known Jimbo personally and stuff,
Yeah.
it turns out you can't actually make a decent living running the perfect comedy club.
yeah.
Although you see the Bordel is also, it's got almost everything, except the fucking place is so successful that there's never a place for comics to just hang out and watch.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But they do have you watch it on TV from the green room upstairs.
Yeah.
It's Bordel is as close as you can get, like
Right. To what the
they had
Works
to
was.
deal with the geography of the room that they were offered
Yeah.
as a club, but they decorated it, they laid it out, the multi levels. I love that there's those multi levels in the Bordel.
Yeah.
So the Bordel, gets as close as you can, but it's still not. First of all, it's French comedy, so it's not. It's even that kind of makes it not. I don't know.
It's
There's
not
something
bad,
about
but yeah,
just
it's
American
Yeah.
style stand up, American style insinuate English, and the comedy anyway. The comedy where I played in the. I hung out at the Comedy Store. What's the other one?
the Improv. Are you talking about in the States?
The Improv, yeah,
Okay.
the Improv. I did the Improv in LA. I mean, I saw the Improv in LA. I saw the Improv in Florida. Nothing gets close to those like the ComedyWorks did.
Yeah,
but
in Canada.
110 seats was your like you're maxed out at 110 seat. It's magical for the performance.
Yeah, it was.
But
Fuck.
if it was sold out all 5 shows every night and people were drinking, Jimbo would maybe be able to derive,
I think he could have
$150,000 to $200,000.
I think he could have. I just
year.
think he didn't have the energy left in him at the end. I feel like he just didn't have it left in him, and he didn't push.
Yeah.
But if he had somebody young and really into it and would be able to let them have the like helms and do something, it would have been for sure. I mean, look at what Acker and Phil did with the Comedy Nest. They turned that place into like it's fucking bumping, man. It was before COVID. It was sold out every night. You know?
Well, and it not sold out, but they were doing well. But as
pretty
both of
sold
them,
out,
they're not
yeah.
making a ton of money, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Even if the ComedyWorks was operating
Right.
at bordel-like capacity, at
Right.
100% capacity, with people actually spending money on drinks and having some
Food
concert series
and-
where the tickets are a little bit more
Yeah.
expensive, working at that max capacity. Like, open 6 day a week like the Bordel, and adding shows. Still, at the best, Jimbo would maybe make $200,000 a year.
Yeah. But it's still
Which-
like, I guess, yeah, no, you're right. It's not, there's got to be a way to make, I guess you have to make it really popular where you can start selling merch and you'll get tourists that want to come. And then,
Right.
you get a lot of people that come.
Up your ticket
Yeah.
price. Like everyone was both the Works and the Nest
Yeah. It's,
had been like the Nest is charging still to this day.
Yeah.
I think coming out of COVID, it's going to be a good opportunity for them to increase their price by $5,
Yeah.
which will still be lower than the national average.
Yeah.
But $20 a ticket. I mean, they were both the Works and the Nest were afraid to go past that $15. Guy, $15, tabarnak. That's what they charged in 1984.
yeah.
But they're afraid. We don't want to lose any.
Well, Montreal has a weird market. The English community in Montreal is very finicky, I find. Like, they're very,
Yeah.
it's hard to get that. French, they love it. They'll go out, they'll spend money. They're going out to have fun. English people are very like, again, I think it comes from like,
and it's an experience.
but the Anglos in
right?
Montreal, I feel, are all kind of, at least like when comedy, like before COVID, it was, it feels like they're always holding on to nostalgia and they're always holding on to like the way things used to be. And there's no like new, like, okay, it's going to be $20 and we're going to change it. And it's going to be, no, they're not coming. They want you to keep it at 15. It's got to be the same way it's always been. If there's a detour, they're mad.
I can't even imagine people would remember. Like they get there, I feel like people get there and it's like, oh, it's only $15. Okay.
Yeah,
There you
but
go.
yeah, and it's hard though. It's hard to get like the English community is not as man. The French love to have fun. I find the English community like if you go east or I guess everywhere else in Canada, but the East Coast that's the closest you'll get to the Quebec kind of. We want to have fun.
Joie de
Yeah,
vivre, yeah.
the Anglos in the East Coast are very like that Quebec French because they have like francophone in their blood as well. So it's
totally.
like, and then you find that in every little community in Ontario that's very francophone as well. They're also super supportive, love to see comedy or have fun. They go out to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but yeah, Montreal had a thing, man. Fuck, I remember seeing Aziz Ansari come and do like a set of shows just working on his hour years ago at the Works, man. There was there was like 20, 30 people I think in the room.
Ray Romano.
I walked up through the back stairs.
Joe Rogan.
Yeah, Rogan too. Yeah, Rogan I remember would do I remember when he was just getting popular then because of very popular with his
News radio.
MMA when he started doing
Okay.
yeah, he started getting very popular with that because when they would come to town for MMA fights, he would do Jimbos.
Exactly. Come do spots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was pretty cool. And then it was right as he transitioned to starting to do like he did, I think the Metropolis at the time. It was the Metropolis that I think it was like.
Well, yeah. So before your time, he would do weekends.
Yeah,
he
for
was
sure.
just a normal guy coming in.
And Ray Romano, like you said, and
Ray Romano,
dude,
Tim
Norm
Allen,
Macdonald, Tim Allen, all of them.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
I wonder who has. I don't know who has.
Did Chappelle ever do that?
Chappelle for sure during Just for Laughs. I'm sure.
Louis C.K.
Louis C.K. Yeah,
Louis
his
C.K.
poster was up. A lot of people, man. It was such a great. It was
That's the thing. So to get back to our initial point,
closest you'll get.
ComedyWorks, which is no longer even in existence, and probably will never get rebuilt, not as a comedy club anyway, was for my money, in my experience, aside from the Comedy Store, is with the most perfect comedy club environment, creative.
But we're lucky, man.
You
know, it sucks that it's gone, but I'm super happy I got to experience it. And to have that, like, because that's the thing too, is like a lot of places in Canada, you don't get that gritty kind of American club style in Canada, and we had that. And then not only did we have that, but then we had American, like, New York comics who did Letterman would come up. Like, I grew up watching these people, like
Al Lubell.
Yeah, man, Al Lubell.
Every year.
And then you could see them like in. Like, man, it felt they had that like Letterman-esque kind of comics. And whatever happened to Al Lubell?
There was a documentary about him that I watched.
Really?
Or he was in a documentary about comedians.
Really?
And interesting guy with mental health issues.
I just remember him from TV, from like watching Just for Laughs as a kid, and I just remember his bit of just continuously saying, "I'm Al Lubell, I'm Al Lubell."
Yeah.
I'm Al Lubell.
I think he was in Couch Surfing, that one with not Couch Surfing, was it the one with the documentary, not the sort of mockumentary comedy, Couch Surfing.
Was it recent or is it an older one?
Yeah, with the Christian comedian.
Oh, Crashing. Yeah,
that's
Couch Surfing.
That's it. I think Al Lubell was in that.
He's American? Yeah. Okay.
Al Lubell?
He's
New York.
Yeah, okay, he's American,
Al Lubell is New York.
I was never
New
sure.
York
I remember seeing him on those old Just for Laughs tapes all the time. Yeah, he was
I'm Al Lubell. Yeah.
Al Lubell, man. Fucking the ComedyWorks days. Those were
ComedyWorks. I mean, I miss it. Do you know that I never headlined too? Jimbo said I wasn't right for the room, and I'm like, I would go there and do 10 minutes and fucking destroy, and he'd be like, "No, it's just not right."
Dude, I remember he never he wouldn't let me. My first weekend opening was for Mike Wilmot, like my first real weekend that he let me open for someone, and but I remember, dude, I did really fucking good. I remember Sheila and Iman both came up to me after and like, "Go see Jimbo. He saw you. He was in the back of the room. Go see him and ask him if you can start doing like opening on weekends." Dude, I go see him. I was like, "So Jimbo, that was pretty. What do you think? Like you think I'm ready yet? Do you think I could start opening?" And he was like, "I don't think you're there yet." And I'm like, "What?" I was like, "Are you?" But I thought didn't you watch? And he goes, yeah, I was there. And I go, well, okay. And he goes,
he would chalk it up to be like, well, Mike Wilmot brings in the best audience.
No, this wasn't Wilmot. This was an open mic. This was before I got to open for Wilmot. He let me open for Wilmot after, but I was like, I don't. What do you mean? And he goes, I go. They loved it. And he goes, yeah, but I don't go by audience laughter.
I know he said the same thing to me. He's like, "Yeah, what did the audience?
I don't judge my audience laughter." I was like, "What the fuck?"
It was like he was trying to be Mitzi Shore, and it's like, dude, you're no Mitzi Shore. You don't fucking. You're not the
You're not gonna turn me. Yeah, you're not gonna turn me into a multi-million-dollar comedian, and you're hurting my feelings this bad.
At the same time,
you've got no clout.
Anyway, God bless him. He did run the fantastic.
He did. No, he definitely. And it made you work your ass off because you were like, "Fuck, I'm gonna even be better than that." All right,
that it didn't survive.
Buddy, are we rolling it in? We're at an hour. Let's reel it in.
Yeah. Do you want to do some football?
Yeah,
picks?
you got
It's
some
wild
picks.
Card weekend. Wild card
Let's
weekend.
get the picks out.
So the last week I went 11-5 and still lost money. It's ridiculous. I choose anchors and they fucking blow it. But this week, wild card weekend. So the Kansas City Chiefs and the Green Bay Packers are the division champions, the NFC, AFC champs.
Okay.
So they get a bye week. Those two teams don't play. I actually think that would be a fucking amazing Super Bowl, but it probably won't. You never know. It's so fucked up how things don't work out. But so the Chiefs and the Packers don't play this weekend. They have bye weekends. This week's game. There are 6 games this weekend, wild card weekend. We have the Colts at the Bills. The Colts defense is quite incredible. The Bills defense is, very good. Their offense, watching the Bills play football they're my favorite team to watch right now. They look like they love playing football. They're so kind of like the Chiefs last year. It just looked like it wasn't business. It was like, oh my God, we're playing in the NFL and they're having so much fun. So I think the Bills are going to beat the Colts this weekend. I hope it's a high-scoring game. It's hard to predict, but I think the Bills are going to beat the Colts. Rams at the Seahawks. Both of those teams have been struggling, especially in the first half. I love the Rams coaching. Do not love Seahawks coaching, but Russell Wilson somehow finds ways in playoffs. That's going to be a tough game. I'm not super sure. I may not put very much money on that, but I think the Seahawks are going to beat the Rams at home. The Seahawks are at home, and I think they're going to beat the Rams. Tampa Bay, Washington. I mean, they could. Washington made the playoffs with a losing record. It's crazy how shit the NFC East was this year. Washington made it in, didn't cover the spread, so I'm pissed off at them. Tom Brady is going to beat the shit out of them. It's going to be, I predict, like a 41-17 score in that game. Tampa Bay is going to beat Washington for sure. Baltimore Ravens, Tennessee Titans. Wow, what a game this is going to be. Lamar Jackson, hopefully you have 2 healthy running backs with him. But Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry, this guy is a tank. He's a tank. He is so exciting to watch. He's 260 pounds and he's faster than like these small little speedy guys. Anyway, gonna be a great game. If Lamar Jackson shows up top notch, the Ravens are gonna beat the Tennessee Titans. But that's gonna be my pick of the week for the best game of the weekend. Ravens Titans is gonna be great. I take the Ravens over the Titans. Bears at the Saints. Wish they could have people in the stadium there in New Orleans. The Bears have been looking much better. Their running game is back. But the Saints, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, first round of the playoffs, you can't fucking expect to win. Saints are going to beat the Bears. Browns, Steelers. The Steelers have been just deteriorating. They pulled out a win last week, even though they pulled out their starting quarterback. The Browns have been really putting up scores, but their defense is struggling. I think the Steelers, again, maybe the best coach team in the league right now, other than the Chiefs. The Steelers are going to beat the Browns, but that's going to be a tight game too. Really exciting football this weekend. Anyway, there's 6 games this weekend. I wish I could watch all 6 from start to finish. They're all going to be great games, except the Bucks, Washington. I assume the Bucks are going to wipe out Washington, but you never know. So those are it. Bills, Seahawks, Bucks, Ravens, Saints, and Steelers.
Those are the picks.
Put all your money on it. Mortgage the house.
Just get rid of it all. Doesn't mean anything anymore, man. Who cares? Money is useless in the next few months.
It is.
It's all going to be fucking
what
done.
What else are you going to do? Can't go to
cool, man.
Vacations.
Enjoy the picks. Have a great time.
Thanks, buddy.
Hope you win big.
Now I have to write a debate. And then I'll work on look for baconnobacon.com. It's going to be coming soon. We're going to have it up before February, I predict. I'm going to write some content and
Are we putting money on that?
Get some fun. I want to bet.
All right, buddy.
All right,
take
buddy.
care,
Nice
man. Good to see you too.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.